Nothing really. The big battle I've always had with people who are into Bitcoin in particular was whether or not it was a currency. And remember, for the longest time, it was, yeah, it's going to be a currency. We just need Lightning. Then we'll be able to do a bunch of transactions. Everybody's going to realize that, and it'll take over fiat. And I was like, there's just no way. There's just too many things working against it. The block size is everything, right? From a technological perspective, and Lightning was everything. Then you got the battles in 2017, I think it was, and you had the forks and all that kind of stuff. There was just too much stuff going on for it to really get to that point. And I really don't think that ever changes. And I always said Bitcoin was worth what somebody will pay for it. And so, as long as there's people coming in, it's okay. As long as the demand exceeds the supply, it's okay. And I've always compared it to gold and always said that it was better than gold. When people say gold has intrinsic value, that's ridiculous. The idea that, assigning, we like gold colored jewelry or gold original jewelry, and that's intrinsic value is ridiculous. And so I think for a lot of reasons, then we fast forward to this summer really, and you start to see the value of smart contracts and DeFi in particular, and governance, and now you realize whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum, even maybe some other choices, when somebody owns that, they become their own personal banker. And when somebody has that, and you can start creating other applications with smart contracts, and you get a lot of leverage, and that's really changed the game for me, and that's what got me excited. Well, I didn't read the white paper. I couldn't tell you all the details of the original promise, and I don't really care. What I know is what I know right now, and in the existing environment, you could use it as collateral. And when you can use it as collateral and you can swap it, and depending on where you swap it, you can do it efficiently and effectively, then your options expand. And so because it's got a liquid marketplace, you can assign a value to it, not just as a store of value, but to act as collateral for other transactions. And what's happening is with DeFi, doing financial transactions, the friction is far less than it is in traditional centralized analog finance. Yeah, in my first company, I wrote a lot of applications for decentralized or distributed databases, and we would deal with replication, we would do all kinds of stuff, right? And so I always saw the value in blockchain, and that was always the same argument I had. The challenge was with blockchain, you had to make a complete commitment and write around it, and then in terms of a Bitcoin environment. And then when Ethereum came out with smart contracts, it all got simplified dramatically, so that blockchain took on a completely different perspective and set of applications. And now there's another set of issues, right, with Ethereum in terms of transactions per second. And so it's actually, they followed the same curve. And the difference is Bitcoin is kind of stuck with a store of value, even though there is a blockchain there. That's more just for confirming transactions that take place, with Bitcoin, buying and selling. Where now with Ethereum, with smart contracts, and now that we're starting to see level 2, 3, or 4 enhancements, there's a lot of narratives out there that are bullshit, right? But at the same time, fundamentally, there's a lot of strong components to it. When you try to explain it to people, they'd be like, dude, I'll just turn on my radio or I'll turn on my TV. What the hell do I need the internet for? And then back then, you had to have a 56K modem, you had to download a TCP IP client, you had to download a media player, and then you had to find it on the website, and it had these little batch files. And so there was a lot of complexity there that made it difficult. But people found a way back then too. I mean, we had millions of users, from 95 to 2000. And so people found a way because the application allowed them to do things they otherwise couldn't do. If you were sitting in your office with a PC on your desk, you didn't have a radio, you didn't have a TV, right? The only way to get media was through broadcast.com and streaming. Now fast forward, 25, 26 years, and it's analogous for crypto. If you want to write yourself a loan, right, in 30 seconds or less, you're not going to a bank, but you'll find a way with crypto. If you want to take advantage of hopefully appreciation, not always appreciation, and keep it locked up and make some financial transactions, again, DeFi, if you want to really get into it and be super geeky about it and learn about yield farming and pooling and staking, you can make more than you would in your savings account. So there are driving applications, and that's what I talk about. It's the driving applications that are better solutions. what really got me excited about NFTs was the smart contracts that'll let you earn royalties on resales. That changed the way things were done. I couldn't take my old MP3 collection that I had, from whenever and resell it the way things are now. And the artists and the publishers couldn't make any money from it. Same with art, same with digital, same with business stuff. If I give a speech that I think is valuable, or if I'm at a conference and something is discussed, now I can tokenize it and sell it. I may not get any money for it, but at least I have that option. And so you're creating value in ways that you never could create before. Well, exactly right. Especially with the know your customer laws and everything, you've got to be able to deal with smaller investors or speculators or traders, whatever, and just pop in a credit card. And Coinbase has done a great job. And on top of that, Coinbase will give you free crypto if you do the rewards programs with, I'm one of those people who have done it. Give me some of this or give me some of that. I'll take my 3 minutes and answer the questions and watch the videos. Sure. I mean, they've been really, really smart in simplification and marketing. It's all about governance. WSB investors, GameStop, AMC, etc. They want to govern themselves. They don't want to be dictated to by anybody else. And so, Wall Street Bets is its own form of governance and voting. They're all staking in their own little way. Sometimes you may stake great information, a research report you wrote, and you let it ride and see what kind of returns you can get. But when you have all these validators effectively who have staked, they bought GME or AMC, that's their staking, right? And maybe I'm getting all the terminology wrong because I'm just learning some of it, but they're staking it and then they're becoming validators, right? And that validation is them buying the stock and just repeating it as much as possible and getting diamond hands and hodling, which however you want to call it. And that's decentralization, and that's the whole underpinning of blockchain and crypto. Let's take control of our own destiny. And it's not 100% right, because some applications are centralized and some players pretend they're decentralized and they're not, and yada yada. And that goes back to your narratives. A lot of people create BS narratives, but in reality, when it all comes down to it, it is analogous simply because it's decentralized and it's giving power to validators, and that's what the market needed. I used to go on CNBC all the time, right? And I used to, tell my friends, here's the stock that I have that I'm going to talk about. Just tell me, record it so I can see what happens to the price of the stock when I talk about it. And it happens all the time. And to this day, people will go on CNBC and they'll just pimp a stock out, right? And then you talk about narratives. What is buy and hold? Buy and hold is a narrative to help stock prices go up. What's what's a cyclical stock versus a consumer stock? Those are just narratives in order to get people to do something, right?